Hey, welcome to Web3 Weekly with your host, Blockstar Technology.
Let's go. All right, we are live. So, hi everyone, welcome to episode 45.
45.
Is it? So,
45, yep.
45th week in a row. So, getting very close to 1 year now.
Yes.
Amazing. So, this one we made it a little bit special. We made it so you can talk about CBDCs. So everyone's favorite coin, CBDC.
And this one's definitely going to end in an argument between me and Cozzy on that. This is why Charlie's in the middle.
Hey, I've still got a one Bitcoin bet with you and Christian. What are we on? I think I got another 14 days.
All right. Okay.
I can't wait to get that Bitcoin. I'm so excited. Thanks so much, Charlie, for donating.
All in all, so guys, welcome to our episode 44. Hey, all the Blockstars, social media nation. So if you have any questions, please send it through all our social media platforms, whether TikTok, Insta, Facebook, Twitter, and Nathan, who's behind the scene, who's our production manager, he will just take on all the questions and will send it to us, and we can discuss and answer any questions. But you might or might not like the answers.
Yeah.
You might like my answers. So on that note, all right, let's start with what is CBDC? Let's start with Charlie.
Okay. Throw me in the deep end. CBDC is a programmable dollar controlled by the government.
All right, so CBD stands for Central Bank Digital Currency. We'll start with that before we dive into the deep end. And actually, this is one topic that we would love to hear from people. So if you're watching this or you're hearing this episode and you have an opinion on CBDCs, please drop a comment or get in touch, have a debate with us. What was the next question? Discussion.
Not
I meant
debate, a discussion.
Well, it might end.
Have the discussion.
Might end in a debate. We don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. So CBDC, it's Charlie. You said it's a digital, like a dollar, but it can be anything, right? So any country can have a CBDC. It's like a digital yuan or digital ruble or.
That's why it's central bank digital currency.
Okay. So when you say central bank digital currency, who really owns that currency? Is it the Reserve Bank owns it, or is it the banks own it?
The Reserve Bank.
The Reserve Bank,
yeah.
Right? They're the minters. So they're going to mint it, and they're going to distribute that via the banks.
And inflation.
Good old friend inflation.
They'll mint inflation.
Yeah. So with the CBDCs, it's like so good, right? Because it's digital, you can buy things easily, you can transfer money so fast, and you can do that now.
Not the transfer fast part, but CBDCs might not allow that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's like a digital currency. It's like stable coin.
I just think it's another way for the government to make more money. I think personally, Cozzy and I have this debate every day in the office. Like, for example, if you take $50 and a $50 note and you go buy a product for $50, that person takes that money, you get the product, they then go use that $50 and that $50 moves on. When you use your card, even like Visa, MasterCard, when you go to pay for something, it might be $50, but you pay on card, it's another 1.5%. And 1.5%, there's always a fee. So suddenly you're getting less of your money. Even now with inflation, with interest rates, right, we're already losing value of a dollar. But that's just the tip of the icebergs about why I hate these things.
But what happens if there's CBDCs but still notes?
You know what? I agree that there is a place for them and there's definitely some use cases, but I do not want to see Australia remove our option and our freedom and us being forced to take that on board. Mm-hmm. So if there's a reason that you might need to, do business in a central bank digital currency, it's faster. It's definitely got a lot of positive things about it. But in my opinion, if we go to a cashless society where it's not just cashless, but we're forced to go into a digital currency, I feel like there's a lot of downfalls. And so today's podcast, point is going to be these guys are for it, and I'm going to be giving some of the things that I think are negative and downfalls, and I have plenty.
I'm in the middle.
That literally. So
well, I think when the CBDC ICO happens,
because he's on the waiting list for them as soon as they're released.
With the CBDCs, we simply call it digital currency. What do you mean by a digital currency? Is it like something that you would? Is it like at the moment people would call it? Okay, yeah, I got digital Aussie dollar. Because I don't see it, I just tap it and I pay for things. Right? I don't see it, I don't touch it. Right? So it's digital. So what makes our current Aussie dollars different to this thing called CBDCs?
Well, it's programmable money. So they can program your money.
When you say they, who are they?
The government, the central bank.
Central banks. So say you've got a Hickstead, you've gone for a university. Maybe one day they'll say, hey, you can't buy coffees until you pay off this Hickstead, and you will literally not be able to use your money to pay for that coffee or buy that vodka or martinis or certain things.
That's right. Controlled spending.
Yeah.
Like they can determine what you spend your money on, and it's going to be something that you can end up being punished for. Like if you look down in the track and how you give a government control over your money, it also is opening the door to the erosion of your privacy, because when we say digital currency, it's on the blockchain. And I think a lot of people know by now that the blockchain is a ledger. And whether or not the digital currency is on a public ledger, it will be a ledger that they can see and they can track, and they will be able to see all of your spending habits, see what kind of person you are. And it's opening the door for going in the direction that they are hoping to with the social credit system. Mm-hmm. So if you're someone that spends your money like on gambling or on alcohol, and they determine that that doesn't qualify as the perfect citizen, like you have different rights, and it begins to be basically an erosion of your privacy. Like, would you want the cashier to know how much money you have in the bank and what you spend your money on?
But they would not know, though. It'll be a private thing. So they would not know how much money I got in my wallet, because it'll be a permission private thing for me, so that no one will know that. Because as a CBDC, it will be permission. It will be private. But
they will know, and it opens the door to surveillance. But they already know, though. Not to that extent. No, this is the government. It removes the need for them to get other things. It just makes it easier. It causes mass surveillance.
And the banks are currently clamping down on money withdrawals at the moment. So money withdrawals are getting clamped down on. Being able to buy crypto, because is getting clamped down. They're making that very difficult as it is now.
Yeah, but when we had the pilot project in Sydney, MasterCard showed that you can buy NFTs using CBDC, so I'm winning.
If they determine
are
it is
Ethereum's NFTs, or are they CBDC NFTs? How do you bridge over to buy Ethereum NFTs?
There won't be Ethereum. That's the beauty of CBDC.
See, but that's the thing. Programmable money means they can have more control over individuals and businesses. They determine what you can spend your money on.
At the moment, they do already do, though. They can seize your bank account. They can stop
only if you've done something wrong. But what?
But why can't they use the same thing when it comes to CBDCs? Why do you think that they will have automatically that the right to block your bank account and all that? But don't they have the same law? Doesn't it apply when it comes to CBDCs?
No, I think now there's different laws and policies and oversights, and that it's a lot harder. But with them having that full control and having programmable money where it's set already in stone that you can't spend it on this, you can't say, and restriction, it is really just a form of greater control.
Yeah, and I think like right now, Cozzy, it might not be a problem. But could you, to put this in a scenario, what happens if Hitler had programmable money before World War II? How much more power and control would he be able to take having that programmable money? And then you're stuck in that system. You can't get out.
So again, like other way around, what if Gandhi had CBDCs? It will be so good though, because he'll just give out
We
and.
have a question from
Oh yes.
FC104,
Yes.
aka Craig.
Oh, Craig.
One of our favorite listeners.
Tracking aside, couldn't the government limit or restrict how you spend your money?
Yeah, absolutely correct, Craig. Thank you for your amazing question.
Yeah, but then again, they can do it now.
No, they can't. Not to that level of control.
Mhm.
Because now this is creating mass surveillance and they can track and monitor your spending habits and collect data on you. So much easier. We've seen how now, like, sure, Walmart could have done the long process of supply management, track their thing, but how much quicker was it when it was on the blockchain? How much easier was it? Instant. It's right there. So
they could instantly go, you know what? No one can buy Coke anymore.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then start pulling out.
Yeah, I was like, we should be specific with what you're saying.
Diet Coke or Coke Zero. No sugar.
Yeah.
I think with the so when I think I hear your points, right? But same, I think there is a place for CBDCs when it comes to, like, charity or things like that, because
absolutely
it's like transparent. Maybe you should have the possibility for you to transfer some of your whatever into your CBDCs, so in that ecosystem is trackable, is traceable, and it's auditable.
But again, it won't be public. Going back to you, Cozzy, of saying, but it'll be the same as now.
It'll be the same as now. It's really,
the charity.
But
what would the charity make that public? That'd be like giving out your bank statements. Why can't charities do that now? Give out their bank statements.
But you can't.
Which they could fake.
You can't verify it. Like on the blockchain, we know it's immutable. You can verify it.
Yeah,
but considering
with it being private and the reserve banks and the banks only knowing that information, they're not going to give out the charity's information.
Because they have privacy. They have privacy laws and things protecting them, and it's up to them. But now we're talking about things that are online, and we consider CBDCs, since it's an online thing and it's money. Don't you think that opens a huge door to cyber attacks? Do they not become a huge target and a lot easier if all our money's on CBDCs?
Oh, look, in that case, it's going to be better, because if someone steals my money, they can always get it back.
Yeah.
Can you get it back?
Yeah, because it will be permissioned, right? So that means someone has access to it, and it's going to reduce from being stolen the funds.
All right.
So no more bank robberies.
They can revert that.
But on that note, all right, consider a country goes to CBDCs and that's all online. So if you shut down the internet network, that shuts down an entire country, doesn't it?
It happened to Estonia.
So,
like Estonia, when it's like the most connected country, they got DDoSed and the government shut down.
Shut down the network, collapse everything.
But then again, we are in that situation already. So if they hack our water system, if you don't have water, guess what? You have no drinking water. You don't need CBDCs for that. You can shut down the internet and that's it. We don't have any water. We can't have any food, anything, right? So I think before CBDC, I think there'll be a lot more other issues that we're going to face. My thing is, with the CBDCs, I see there'll be some use case, but I'm still trying to figure out what that use case is. I like crypto, obviously, and I like crypto because it gives more freedom. You can do whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, I think that's what the whole idea of the blockchain is. That's the whole thing.
Well, the beauty of Bitcoin is over 51% of people would have to vote to inflate the supply. It's not COVID hits and the government goes on a mad printing spree all around the world, and now we're suffering the consequences.
And that's the thing, like, who's to stop them from just releasing CBDCs? Like, that's how inflation happens.
Yeah,
it's programmable money. There's no limit.
Yeah, but again, that maybe you don't need a limit, because it's like
then it has no value. Then it has no value.
Yeah, I think it may help international settlements.
Yeah.
Cross-border, which will take out the middlemen in that industry.
Also in the wholesale, like you said, like the wholesale market, right? Not for the retail per se, but business to business, like in that transaction.
Yeah, and maybe even for smaller people that are transferring money over to countries, third world countries where their families still are, and you're not having to pay exorbitant middleman fees to get that money over and wait days, a week. that'll probably be a benefit of it, but it all depends on how intertwined these governments are doing it, and they are all working together. The World Economic Forum is going pretty heavy on it, which if you guys have seen the videos, that Squaffs guy, like he looks like Emperor Palatine, like in the videos he does. And then there's the other one, Janet Yellen, where she's coming out and she had the note and said, "This is your money. We're letting you choose the color." Like, come on, choose the color. Yeah.
So I think the other thing is what's it going to do to commercial banks if you no longer need a bank to just deposit, have settlement payments?
No, they will be the distributor.
Okay.
So you can't get directly from the government. The CBDC will be distributed through the bank, so that banks are always plays a part. I mean, you need intermediaries, right? That's the whole point of the blockchain. Oh no, actually, it's other way around.
Yeah, that's odd, isn't it? Like they're just making sure everyone in that circle gets a piece of the pie, even if they're not needed.
Yeah, I think maybe there is something that maybe we are not seeing. They have worked it out. Okay, like banks need to be in it, but for me, where I'm sitting, I can't see why the banks need to be involved because they could be another different service provider, but should they be part of that process? I don't see it. Maybe I'm missing something unless someone can explain to me why we need banks moving forward. I think they are in a business unless they have some other use case. I don't know whether they're going to be like an investment of funds or something like that.
And do we see any real reason why all of a country should be forced to go onto CBDCs?
Well, otherwise you not be able to afford the government benefits, right? Governments would not say like, oh, we can't accept crypto for your council rates. We can't accept crypto to pay your bills. You had to use Aussie dollars. So the idea would be they would release Aussie dollars in CBDCs, and as you use your hard-earned cash. This is my no one told me this. I haven't read from anywhere, right? This is purely coming from my head, so I'm not putting anything out there, not fudding anything. But I have a feeling that they will cycle that fund. So when you pay for something using hard-earned cash, like physical cash, fiat, they would use that one and then put that in the system, and then they will take it out and then give in CBDC, Aussie dollar.
But I mean, like, look at what they did in Nigeria, how they basically forced their people to go into CBDCs, and the people did not want to go, and they let their own children there starve until they all conformed. So is that not raising alarm bells? Are we not all thinking, gee, maybe we should look at other countries and how they've gone about it, because they were talking about doing it here for complete control of...
I guess again, like, it depends on country to country, because when you look at a country with with some of the developing countries, they are already in a position that they are not, like when you look at Australia got the best life ever, right? Like, I don't know, I see nothing to complain in Australia. We got everything, right? Now in a developing country, there are so many things that not good. So for them, they can fight. But here, I think I have feeling in Australia, a lot of people got a lot to lose. So would they do that same thing in what they did in Nigeria? I don't think so.
Well, I think let's stay tuned, because I feel like a lot of people didn't think, I don't want to bring up a touchy topic, but a lot of people didn't think that they would take, no, not just the vaccine, but a lot of people didn't think that they'd take your right to earn a living away. They didn't think that they'd take your right over the sovereignty of your own body away. We didn't think that they would do that, and then they did all that to us. We didn't think that they would restrict our freedom to movement. We didn't think that they would do the whole list of things they did. And given the fact that we just went through all of that, what makes you sit here and think that they would not do that? We have no indication to think that the government would not do that. In fact, that they have openly admitted that they want to go on this, and the roadmap is to go on a social credit system. Unless people really switch on and stop being like, no, the government won't hurt me, we can't wait until it's too late.
And I think that's why you had to have those conversations with within the government itself, there are people in there who really want to have those discussions, both sides, right? I think when everyone agrees on one side, I think it doesn't. I think have good conversation doesn't get filtered through. So you need both sides to be argued, so that things that you haven't thought of really comes out in those discussions, the heated discussions. I think so.
And I love what you're saying, and I'm a really big believer of freedom of choice. If they give people the choice to utilize that option as though it's a service, a facility, absolutely amazing. But we know that that's not the plan. They're hoping to convert everyone to cashless system and then the central bank digital currency. That's the roadmap. And I really love the question that one of our listeners has just asked. Won't it be good for preventing crime, large syndicates, because they can lock the fund? That's one good use case. But let's look at it alternatively. With the power to lock funds, because they can do it for crimes. What about if they lock a fund because your opinion is different to the government's opinion? For example, what if they say, no, if you don't get, we'll use the vaccine as an example. A lot of people held out. But now if they say, no, if you don't do what you're told and you don't put a poison into your body, you will not have any access to money. Full coercion, full control.
Look at Canada, for instance.
Exactly, with the truckers.
With the truckers, what do you call it?
Yeah, the protests, and they froze their bank accounts.
So that's already happening. It's nothing to the CBDC. It's already happening.
But look at how much harder it was for them to do that. And it didn't happen to everyone. So what we're saying is it's as though it's a catalyst. Like, they could do it to a small scale, but imagine if they can do it to a mass scale and even more people are affected. So sure, a couple of people, unfortunately had that happen to, but imagine if people no longer stand and fight or protest out of fear of complete control.
Yeah, I think going to the question of stopping crime, sure, but criminals will find ways around it. They'll always find ways around it. Like, look in Australia how hard it is to get a gun compared to America. Who has most of the guns probably in Australia? Criminals, because they can get it on the black market. It's like prohibition. What happened when alcohol became illegal? Well, there was a market there,
but we can't
manage to get alcohol in.
Yeah, but the thing is, why should we make the majority of people suffer for a minority thing? Like, but it will be good to get criminals. What percentage of society are we considering criminals? So why should everyone go on that because of the possibility that you might get a criminal? And right now, they know who criminals are. They can track and trace. We live in a surveillance state. So if they wanted to get the criminals, they could. Why are we suggesting that everyone should be dealt the same treatment even if they didn't do the same thing wrong?
I think it's like bringing that they class it as safety through fear, but how far are you willing to give up your rights for that safety over that fear?
Especially they brainwash it. What?
Especially with aliens in the news articles.
Very sad alien coin.
That just went. I didn't see that coming, especially with aliens.
I mean, like who needs? And also with the CBDCs, I guess you don't pay gas when you do minting.
Oh my gosh, Kazi!
I'll still charge you something.
Because I said, it's another thing. Like, you can lock your funds. You can mint without paying gas.
It's worse.
I'll spin up a blockchain with one node, Kazi, and not charge you gas.
You really think the government is going to make a programmable coin and not have things programmed into it where they are always getting their cut no matter what? Everything you do, the government will always make sure they eat first. So the GST will be built in it. Everything will be built into that programmable money.
I've run a company and GST was the pain. It was a pain in the ass. So like, just take it automatically. Yeah. I felt like I had to invoice the government for the time I spent on GST. They should have been paying me for my time. It was all free of charge. I was their free tax collector. It's bullshit.
And so with we are going into a more everything's digital connected, right? With the AI and everything's connected. And do you think that money is the last, like we feel like, we have one, say, if I want to spend that one physical dollar, I'm not even talking about the, what's in the bank and we tap and go thing, right? Like physical money. Do you think that's the only freedom that we currently hold? That's why we don't feel like, oh my God, I don't want to let that go because that's the only.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the very few things. But no, the thing is, people need to understand that everything is proportionate. Like, you may not see the long-term thing. But the moment you start letting this stuff slide and you give this away, it opens the floodgates. And we saw that because that's how they use behavioral science and like conditioning to do that. They never hit everything all at once. What they do is they slowly condition you to a program. They slowly get you used to it. They slowly take your rights away and make you think it's for your benefit. And so it doesn't matter what the argument in front of us is now. It matters what they could potentially do with it in 5-10 years. Like,
yeah, and I know what you mean by that because they expand that out over a lifetime or two, where GST was only meant to be a temporary thing. Since I've been born, I didn't know that for many years. GST is, you have to pay GST on this, GST on that. But the way they sold it to people was GST was meant to be temporary.
And that was just
same thing with super funds.
Yep.
They were matching people in Australia. They were matching people. Every dollar you put into super, we'll put into super $1. It's like, hey, that's awesome. Like, hey, every dollar I put in, the government will match it. Now people are losing money, like during COVID when stocks crashed and these funds are putting their money in here and here. It's not a sweet deal as it
but it's
used
even
to be.
all the other lies that we can look in history, like, hey, the lockdowns will only be 2 weeks. That's it. To flatten the curve. How many? Melbourne stayed in lockdown for 18 months. So in reality, the moment you roll over and give up your rights and you submit, it doesn't matter whether you can see their game plan. It's just knowing that the moment you open those floodgates and you agree to one thing, if that door is open, it's a slippery slope.
So what
or inflation is transitory.
Inflation's transitory. Another great example. Or
all
interest
the
rates
people in
won't go
Bitcoin
up.
are like, yeah, no, I don't think so. And then they come out years later like, yeah, I think we underestimated that. But everybody on crypto Twitter was saying,
okay. So what if, for who's out there, right, who says crypto is a Ponzi scheme? We don't do crypto. We only believe in the Aussie dollar.
That's going to be a great shock for them.
They lose their buying power.
What
was $200 of groceries getting you last year to now?
Crypto is the money of the people. All right, it is the international
Bitcoin.
Yeah, but you're right. I should say Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is Bitcoin is the money of the people, and it was really developed with the foresight of taking the power back from governments and the control. Do you know what I mean? For like governments that were going rogue and like ruining your money's value. Look at inflation. Look at what we could once do. People are working so much harder for so much less because of the poor decisions their government made for them. This is not a political discussion, but it kind of is.
And also not financial advice, by the way. So,
and that's why Satoshi released Bitcoin after the GFC, after the government said they were going to buy out all these banks that screwed up at their job.
All right, so Satoshi actually started working on Bitcoin prior to that, so they've got evidence, but the whole point was still for that thing, because you can
in the first block he actually wrote that.
He put the paper
newspaper article of the bank bailout.
But that's exactly it, because a lot of very smart people can see how flawed the financial system is. They can see how much power corrupts government, and ultimate power corrupts it ultimately. So like, without people being willing to accept that perhaps we should not give them ultimate power over us and actually taking a bit of that power back, you're right, we need to look at both sides, but I think that not enough on this side is being told.
I think my question is why should we upgrade to a CBDC, a blockchain dollar? Kazi? Why should we? Why the system works as it does now?
I think it has its inefficiencies, like especially I would say it will work within a country. I think as soon as you open up your trade to be international, because not every country, I don't know whether how true this is, but I feel like for a country to be effectively be prosperous, you had to be open to other trades, and you'd have give and take. So we got very rich minerals here, so that we sell it to China, UK, and all around the world, and then that brings in revenue and everything else. And I think when it comes to that type of that level, I see being used CBDCs,
Mhm.
right? In that level, between as we know, there's some projects being done between the developers and the contractors, right? I feel like you almost buy some CBDCs, put into a system, let that process happen, and then you take that out into some other currency. So because now that part is being handled through the CBDCs.
Okay, I love that example, but like realistically, don't all of those benefits already exist now?
No.
Why do we need a CBDC? Why
No,
can
they
they
don't.
not use another cryptocurrency?
Yeah,
Why
okay,
can't
in
they
the
use
crypto-wise?
Yeah,
because
all
of
of
the
those
market
benefits already
fluctuations.
exist.
Because there's no
Stable
guarantee.
coins, stable coins.
The government wants to own everything.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing; those benefits already
Mhm.
exist.
Because that CBD is owned by a private company like Circle or Tether, right? So if they're owned by a private company and using money that's supposed to I think that's
But how many people need to use it for that example? If we're talking a small proportion that need to send funds or do this and opt in to use that CBDC, if those benefits already exist, why not use it? Like what
Because
is
it's
the
not
need
government
to build
owned.
all the infrastructure and spend so much money outlaying to do that if the solution already exists?
Mhm.
Why don't
because
they
it's a
partner
private.
with Circle and Tether?
Well, they could again, like it's like saying, okay, why can't part of the government be privatized?
It is.
How do you know?
The
A lot of it is.
Queensland government's actually got an ABN.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
That's news to me, guys.
A lot of it
Yeah.
is like,
Okay,
and that's
so-
the reality. They're also corporations. They also work as
Mhm.
companies and businesses and make money and profits and revenues and all that stuff.
Okay,
So
so we
the
do need
reality-
CBDC.
No, we don't.
Damn. I'm trying to get to that ICO.
Yeah.
But I guess with given the current market, when they say for example, what would it be against a CBDC between a Aussie CBDC and a Chinese yuan CBDC? What would that say? For example, now if when we do the trades, right? What would that looks like? So a yuan CBDCs comes into a place, then and then Aussie.
Well, I would, for me, I'd say when the Chinese yuan CBDC comes into Australia, we would have to account that yuan and put it into a holding and print the Australian AUD for it. Now, when it went to China, I would say they would print double the yuan and then hold the AUD and sell it back to us.
Look, I think these are like really good discussions to have, and look, one thing is I don't know how far away are we from having a CBDC, and I'm thinking more it will be single digit years rather than double digit years.
I want to say, like, when we look at the central bank digital currency as a currency and how money is used just to buy and trade and whatever, we can think of a lot of great reasons that you might have it, fast transactions, this, that, quick settlements, whatever. But when we consider it from the point where it's programmable money and it actually opens the door for the government to have control or collect data on you and surveillance and all of that stuff, that's a different topic. We're not talking about the efficiencies of having a digital currency that you can use and cut down the cost. We're talking about, forget that. That's how they're going to sell it to you. Like, oh, this is a much faster, efficient way to do this and this. But what they're not basically making, whereas like, this is also a way where we can have complete control over you. This is a way where we can, data mine on, track your data, track all of this stuff and watch what you're doing, what you're spending on. And this is a way that we can control you because we control the money and we can cut your system off. So if you don't do what we say, we can stop you. If you don't, if you're not a good person and you don't make the decisions we want you to, we can stop you. We can deem you unable to buy this. That's a different thing to the efficiencies of a currency.
Or they might not do any of that. We got that's option. At least
yeah.
You know what I'd like to do?
Aliens.
Get someone. No, but watch the documentary. Watch the news articles out lately. They're worth it. Get someone from the banking sector. There's quite a few banking people getting into the CBDCs.
Of course they are.
Events, but talk to them and see why. The why. Why are you guys so interested in bringing in the CBDC? What's the benefit for you guys having to uplift and update your whole computer systems that haven't been changed since what, Cosy, the 80s?
No, well before that.
Well before the
Well
80s.
before that.
So they haven't changed it this long, and now they're all for changing the systems.
Well, because the CBDCs aren't going to stop governments from making bad policies or printing more money. So,
but what's the benefit for bankers?
I would say it's an inefficiencies. The banking system, they still use the old mainframes, right? Those ones are still running our finance. When we have the internet, we have all those things, but still the banking system, the back end hasn't really innovated. Right? There's no invention.
Who's that? No, this is real. It's not pre-recorded, but thanks for asking.
Yeah, it's real or pre-recorded crap. No, it's not pre-recorded. It's live.
We're just
funny. Yeah.
All right.
So, and I think with I think that's it is coming for a renew. And I think they're looking at all these things, and as you can see, whether people will say oh, I'm going to get you say cash in hand or things like that. So away from the system, not using credit cards, not using that. I think that's what it's going to come down to. People will not have that freedom anymore.
Yeah.
Because there won't be. That's what India did, because there's a huge black market of money in India, right? People could not account it because they had to go around the system, around the what's in the process. They found other ways, and the government, what did they overnight? They made certain notes
they
illegal.
took the notes out. Yeah,
notes took out.
I remember that.
So now
years ago.
Exactly. So that sends crazy waves in India, and it just turned other way around. And I think that's the type of thing, probably even bigger than that, would happen when it come to CBDC. So whether we like it or not, the two guys. Sorry, we would do.
Who would I talk to?
Yeah, exactly. If you can come online here, then
ask us a question instead of saying weird comments.
But at least they're participating. Thank you for participation.
Thank you for feeding the algorithm here in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I think you need some sleep. It'll be late over there. Wouldn't it be 3 in the morning?
Isn't it good that even from US, isn't it that it's good that that's what we need. We need participation. With some people like it, some people doesn't. Bankers loves the people who are in the finance ecosystem.
Yeah,
they love crypto. They love not crypto. They love the CBDC element of it, right? Because it gives a little bit more control. It just it can predict where things goes, and not even prediction. It's almost you can set the rules.
But a lot of them are already using internal blockchains now.
Yeah.
They're already
JP Morgan.
They're already doing that, and they've been doing it for a while, and they've been doing it for their interactions and their trade and fast settlements. They've been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So why make it why? Are we not asking the question why? There's got to be a bigger reason. If it's already in place and all the benefits of it already exist, why would the government want to control your money to this extent? This is like a superpower,
Yeah.
Get angry. Fight me on this.
No, I think, look, 100%, I see that. Maybe there is something that we're not seeing.
I'm seeing it. What do you mean something we're not seeing?
No, I'm just kidding. So with when it comes to CBDCs, right? Do we know exactly where it started from? China was doing not CBDCs, but they had their whole social
credit system,
right? And it tracks everything that your actions you take and what you do, and based
what
on
you
that
spend your money on, and it determines what benefits you get.
And also you
can catch the train
to the city, right? And that all works out. So do you think that there will be something like that with the
They
CBDCs?
have already come out and openly said that they love the way that China has based their economy and that they are setting their systems up on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very funny how
when
people...
you say they, who are they?
I will send you the article. I will attach it to this link because it was, I think the governments and stuff, they're actually working alongside very close and watching the Chinese economy, and they love what that's done to the economy to help it flourish and how it's so much better in controlling the masses. And I think that it was a perfect example. It was just a test run, COVID, for us. I can guarantee it, within the next year or two, we will have another pandemic, and then we will have another pandemic, and it will be for the purpose to get every single person a digital identity and onto digital currency. You must have a digital identity for you to benefit from this digital currency and come on board with the CBDCs.
Okay, so
It will be by force.
Yeah, I think we should answer the.
I'm like the Simpsons.
Yeah, good. And I think we should answer Oklahoma. Obviously, he stumbled on this weird and wonderful podcast. So, Charlie, do you want to explain
I
what
have
this
no
podcast
idea
is
what
all
this
about?
channel is about.
Okay.
I think you should explain to Mr. Oklahoma or Miss Oklahoma, whoever.
User in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So we do weekly podcasts, Mr. Oklahoma, Mrs. Oklahoma, about everything blockchain and emerging technology.
Yeah.
That would sum it up. And
That's
today
right.
we're talking about central bank digital currencies.
Curries.
Curries.
What do you have for lunch today, Charlie?
I did have curry. And we're having a discussion on, are they good or are they bad?
Yeah,
Programmable
exactly.
money.
Programmable money, digital money, and that's what we're discussing. So
And in America, Biden has already signed.
they have the Fed now, which is a version of that. One step behind what that is. I mean, Mr. Oklahoma, Miss Oklahoma should know this, better than us. Than this of the world, Fed now is being, approved, and they're going through those steps now. And I think from our side, we'll be looking watching it like very closely on how that goes. That digital monetary system really works. I mean, like when you talk about, this is what I'm saying about humans, right? I know this is what, some humans, they fought for the right to not go into CBDCs, right? Digital CBDCs, right? Digital currency. But then we have Sam Altman coming up with the world coin, who scan their retina, get free money. I mean, you got lines of people.
Biometrics, the word biometrics.
But then there are people who lined up to get scanned to get the, the token.
And there's people that I was going to say something.
Yeah.
No.
But what I'm saying is that
Maureen, are you going to get your eyes scanned?
No, and you know what? There's also, I don't want to say idiots, but there are people 40,000 people that paid $180 to get a microchip injected in them so it could be more convenient for them to go to the gym. All right? Common sense is not that common. We're not all born equal. We know that.
Cozzy.
I just hit my hand.
I feel like Cozzy is purposely making me angry so I lose it on the show. Pushing my buttons.
Will you get your eyeball scanned for some world coin?
He can't wait he told people he can't wait to have the Neuralink put in his brain so he doesn't have to think anymore.
Let Elon Musk think.
No more typing for God.
He was like, thank God that was taking a strain on me.
I don't make any more decisions anymore. I think I do understand there are some people will fight for it.
The question was,
would I get
would you get your eyeball scanned?
Would I get how much CBDCs would I get paid?
all of them. They're probably going to sell
would
your
I get
eye.
yours and yours? Maybe like opera. No, I would not. I would not get my. No, I would not.
You wouldn't.
No, I would not. I would get my Neuralink installed, but not scanned. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding because we still have to go through again that same thing, right?
Yeah.
How can you let a company like WorldCoin or Sam Altman's private company hold
your data?
Your private, okay, even though I can share with government, I'm still not comfortable. But
we don't even want to serve.
What about the
at least they're controlled.
Software or the
KYC software, but exactly. So that's
you're giving them
certain
your data
amount, but not the fingerprint or the.
And I love what you're saying, but we have to look at technology. Every single technology that was once created, a majority of those things were created for good reasons. They weren't created with malicious intent and bad purposes. But every single thing can be weaponized. We have seen everything be weaponized. Like once social media was created for like connection and connecting people, blah, blah, blah. But now over time, we saw how it was created to be used against us. Like they literally went out and hired people to be like, how can we get them addicted to this? How can we get them to spend more time? And the dopamine releases. And the people that worked for those companies express their deep regret today because they didn't know the damage they would be causing. So all of these technologies, what?
How do we change outcomes of elections? The Cambridge
CBDCs.
Right.
With the CBDC. So I see that, what we're talking about, obviously, you guys don't like CBDC.
Yeah, I don't know if I made it obvious.
I'm a bit in the middle of it all.
I'm not.
Charlie is too easy going to say no. If someone's like, I'll trade you $100 for 200 CBDCs, he's like, okay, let's do it.
No,
that's exactly how you'd say it.
Look, for me, where I stand, I see there's a part of the CBDCs, but I'm not a fan of CBDCs becoming into the retail,
yes,
mums and pops.
Yeah,
because I think that is where some what we call social economic people would get impacted, while others might not, because they have a little bit of insight. They have a lot more other benefits in the top, but at the bottom layer, guess what? If you're living paycheck to paycheck, and that means it could impact you massively. This type of new currency could impact you. Whether it's a negative or a positive, I don't know what that it looks like, because at the end of the day, we're just guessing it's going to get bad, but it might be good. But you have to know that it's going to impact you quite heavily. So you have to make sure that maybe you read and understand what the CBD is all about, and do your own research. I think that's important.
Or even what money is.
Yeah, money is and how money works.
Don't even know what money is.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I get it. There's pros and cons, but at the end of the day, for me, it's about pro-choice. I believe in people's rights to choose whether they participate in a system like this. Is that screen vibrating? Whether or not they have to be tracked. Like if they're not using it for any of the benefits that you've listed, like faster settlements, financial benefits, cross-border, whatever, if they're not utilizing those programs, why should they be forced to go into a CBDC? Should we not get the choice of how we receive our money? You've got all these people that are paying taxes and all these people doing the right thing. Why should they be punished because apparently some people don't? That's ridiculous.
Look,
rant over.
I hear you. And guys, look, this about CBDCs. Obviously, there are everyone's passionate. Everyone has a what we call
opinion.
Yeah. And it's like everything in life, right? Everyone, but this one is like quite. We are quite passionate about when it comes to money, because that's a human right. I feel one of the human rights to spend how. If you earn that money, how you want to spend it, but then they'll be like, okay.
But guess what? They'll actually tell you that that's not a right. You don't even have a right to a bank account. Most people don't know these things.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a luxury. It's not a,
Yeah.
So all in all, I think, guys, the discussion is not over, but all we are doing here is we are having this discussion or debate and points of opposite points. Is that what we want to do? Is we want everyone to listen to this one and then make up your own mind. Why are they having these opposite points of about CBDC? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? But we want to discuss both sides, so that would help someone like you to go and think about this.
Yeah.
Or look it up.
And look it up. Exactly.
Do your own research. Always do your own research.
100%.
But the other thing is, once you've educated yourself, make sure you educate someone else around you that doesn't know, because a lot of people are very oblivious. And as much as ignorance is bliss, if you do not know where your life is going and you choose to do nothing, then it will be taken out of your control. You can't worry about it when it's too late, right?
Yeah, 100%. So whether we like it or not, crypto, blockchain, it is happening, it is coming. And it's like, what type of blockchain, what type of crypto would be the things that you have to look at, whether it's not the technology itself, but it's what it would be, in which form it would be implemented. And that would impact all of our lives, how we live, how we eat, how we,
the choices we make, and especially for the kids. Like, we're old enough to make decisions, and we're not going to be around for much longer. But I don't know why I said that.
Hopefully I'll be here for longer.
But you know
Not
what?
me.
Look, think about the next generation and what they're going to have to go. They don't get a say now, but we're going to make decisions that are going to impact our kids, their kids, and the future of humanity. That went heavier than I wanted.
On that note, I think we should.
No, our meetup.
Meetup, yeah, exactly. So we are coming to the end of it, and I just, as Maureen said, Maureen, do you want to mention?
Yes,
our meetup?
I do. So, guys, if you've ever bought, sold, or hold crypto, and you're in the Gold Coast or Queensland, anywhere, and you want to join us, we have an amazing speaker at our next meetup. It's on Tuesday, the 1st of August, which is next Tuesday. As always, the doors open at 5:30. It kicks off at 6. It's going to be some delicious food, really nice finger food. We're going to chuck in some pizzas. We've got a bar tab, and most of all, we have some amazing networking. It's a great crew. So come on down, meet new people, and learn how to do your crypto taxes.
That's right. So it's not from us. It's from Siler.
Yeah.
Nick from Siler, one of the co-founders, going to be presenting how to do your crypto tax. So if you are in the crypto space, you can't. Can you hide from tax? No, you can't.
No, they will find you.
Tax and death, right?
Yeah, only two certain things in life: tax and death.
Yeah. So make sure I'm talking to you. If you trade crypto, make sure you come down and listen to what Nick from Siler has to say, and all of us going to learn something new, and I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it.
Some
Me
tips
too.
and check out the awesome software they've got.
Yeah, awesome software that they got, and I think they're cheaper compared to the other platforms as well. When it comes to the Australia's cheapest, right?
Australia's cheapest crypto accounting software.
Yep. There you go.
And, for anyone that listened or listens later, we would love to hear your thoughts on CBDC. Let us know what you think. Drop a comment or send us an email, whatever. You know how to get in touch.
Or Oklahoma, please.
We'll see you next week, same time.
Thanks for tuning in. And this is real.
This is real. It's not recorded. All right. On that note, guys,
all right,
thank you so much. And have an awesome weekend. And we'll see you next week at... same time, same place, episode 46.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. See you
Bye.
guys.
See you
next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Subscribe.